In this session, I'm going to go ahead and set up or go through the steps to set up Orion point of sale to have a remote physical location set up on an existing point of sale site. So I'm going to go ahead and log into the management console, and the basic assumption is that this existing point of sale installation is set up and operating. You've posted transactions to the accounting system, imported your inventory, set up and have the system operating. I'm going to go down to the administration area, table maintenance, and add or make sure that we have set up two different things or two different things done that are required to operate a remote controlled workstation at a remote site. The first step is to go into the locations and make sure that there is a second physical location set up in the POS locations table. The initial location is the head office location. And again, we have the head office location set up and functioning as a basic premise for this demo. If I select the head office location, the information is all set up for the location, and we have it drawing down the IC location from ACPAC from the warehouse number 1 as a tax group, and there are invoices that have been processed. In this case, apparently 521. The remote connection tab has nothing on it in the head office location. If I load the second location, which I previously set up to be with the intention of operating as a remote pulled workstation, again, the address is set up in the system, as well as drawing from IC location number 1, and there have been no transactions processed against it. If I go to the remote connection tab, I can see that there is an IP address and a port set up. The intention here is that this IP address is the IP address of the physical location, the remote site, and we assign a port to be used to do TCP/IP transactions or to send through TCP/IP data to and from this physical location. In this example, I have an internal address set up, but typically this is the IP address, the external IP address of that physical location's internet access. If this were already set up, I could push the test button in this case and expect to see a positive connection made or a tested connection and get a positive result done when we do that. Once we have set up a physical location for the remote location in the Orion database, I have to have at least one workstation set up in Orion attached to the second physical location, to the remote location. So if I open the Finder again, you can see that I have 4 workstations that are set up attached to the head office. Now I'm going to select the first one and just verify that. So the POS location that we're attached to is number 1, which is the head office. The second station is also number 1, the third, and the fourth. But again, in the example, there is one with the code of REM001, and that is attached to the second location, the remote location. And that's a very important step that if you miss doing, will cause the system to set up basically incorrectly. So once we've done that, I would set up the printers to be to use the default, and set up anything else that you might want to set up with the workstation, and then save it. And once we've done that, we can go through the process of exporting the data after having set up the remote side of the remote polling system. If I go into the remote polling area of Orion and push the synchronize locations, you can see that there is one entry. Orion knows that the second location is a remote location simply because of the fact that we set up an IP address under the remote tab and a port. The head office location did not have that done, so the system assumes that any of the location records that have IP addresses are going to be remote locations. When we begin the process of transmitting data to the remote, the remote has to be set up and with a database, and there will not be any data there to communicate with or to operate with. So the first part of the process, once you've set up the remote location, gone back to the head office and tested to make sure that it's set up and you've got a connection through, is to run an export and export the data to the location. If I push this now, we're not going to have a connection because it's not set up, but you can see that it's failed. But the system will try to package up the data and export it, and we'll just fall over and fail here. But really, that's what you need to know to do this from the head office side. The next phase of the setup will be to go over the remote setup, the setup for a remote location. So we'll do that in a following video. Thank you.